So this is going to be the final tutorial that you'll need to prepare for the test, and it's chapter 4.4, using ratios to find them out. Okay, so for this last part we're going to look at how do we find an unknown value if, in this instance, we've got n to 24 equals 9 to 4. So like before, easiest way to do it is to write out the ratios above each other. So I have, and always put the letter on the bottom, just because it's a bit easier. So again, obviously if I'm looking at the 24 there, this here, that's telling me that I need to times it by. So I need to find out what I times 4 by to get 24. In this instance, 24 divided by 6 equals 6. So 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So 4 times 6 equals 24. I have to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So then I have 9 times by 6. 9 times 6 gives me an answer of 54. So n equals 54. Okay, so for this question here, we obviously have a chemist needs to make a batch of medicine by mixing a chemical with water in the ratio of 3 to 7. If the chemist begins with 600 ml of the chemical, how much water is added? So for this one, it wouldn't hurt to write it out in words again, the key bits of information. So my ratio is looking at chemical to water, because that's what we're mixing together. And this ratio here actually tells us that I have 3 parts chemical to 7 parts water. And it actually says that I start with 600 mils of the chemical. So I'm going to put that down in this side here. So once again, it's actually telling me that to get from 3 to 600, I've got to times by a number because it's got bigger. So I want to find out how many 3's go into 600, and that gives me an answer of 200. Then obviously I've got to do the same thing on the other side. 7 times 200, which gives me an answer of, well, 7 times 2 gives me 14. I have 2 zeros there, so I'm going to add them, which gives me 1,400 as an answer. Okay, so this last question here is comparing height of 2 people. So the ratio of Upmar's height to Brett's height is 9 to 10. If Brett is 152 centimetres tall, use a calculator to find Upmar's height. Write the answer to the nearest centimetres. So again, we'll quickly write it out in, just to make it a bit easier for us. So I've got Upmar and Brett, and it tells me Upmar's height comparison is 9 to Brett's 10. If Brett's 152 tall, how do I get there? So obviously, again, because 152 is bigger, it means I've got to times by. And in this instance, to get from 10 to 152, I need to times by 15.2. Squeeze that in there, sorry. Which means I have to do exactly the same to the 9 on the other side. So that actually gives us an answer of 136.8. But obviously the last part of the question actually asks us to round it to the nearest centimetre. So Upmar is 137 centimetres tall. And that's the end of that tutorial, and hopefully this will help you guys with the test.